Okay, thanks so much for joining us tonight or catching the replay if you are watching the replay. I know we had some last minute conflicts, but I have to say this is one of the parts of this business that brings me the absolute most joy is just passing it on and giving it away to other women. And this, may or may not be for you if you're listening in, but we always just love to share because you just never know until you hear the facts. I never in a million years thought that I would be a Mary Kay beauty consultant. Never. I went to college to be a teacher. I graduated, was looking for a job. At the time, I was a full-time nanny and applying for teaching positions. And that's when a friend offered me a facial. This was almost 19 years ago. This month will be 19 years. And so I thought nothing of it, but I got together with her, tried the product, and I loved it. I loved how my face felt, loved how my skin looked, just in that 30, 40-minute setting with her. And because the wheels were kind of spinning for me, and I was just curious, I asked my friend what kind of money she was making with Mary Kay. And when she said 50%, I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Sign me up." I'm not great at math, but I could divide by two. I know that's a really, really great commission. So I did sign up really right on the spot. I almost didn't, I will say. I had a lot of fears, I had a lot of questions, a lot of doubts. Am I tend to overanalyze. There's a feather. I tend to sometimes just like scare myself. Um, but here's what I told my friend. I said, I'll try it out. I'll give it a year. If I'm having fun, if I'm making money, I'll stick with it. And if not, at least I tried. And so I told her, I said, don't be mad at me if I quit. And she said, no, it's totally okay. One, we'll teach you everything, but just would love to have you try it out. And she was my friend. I knew I could trust her. And I truly loved everything I heard about the company because she had shared with me some of the things about the company. Like at that time, the company had been around for 40 plus years. The Mary Kay Foundation, what that's doing for cancer research to help find cures for cancers affecting women, to help fight to end domestic violence. I truly love that Mary Kay is a company that puts God first, family second, and career third. And when my friend shared that with me, I kind of like perked up a little bit because it's not one of those things that you hear very often. And I thought, well, that's really cool. Um, and I just kind of was curious as to like what that looked like in the company itself. And I quickly found that this is a company that doesn't just talk about it, but it's a company that walks that out. Mary Kay herself, um, put God first in her life, and she wanted us as women to be able to do the same thing, to keep God first, our family second, and our career third. And that's why she created this opportunity, this company for women, so that we could have that unique opportunity to work and keep our priorities in order. So anyway, in that setting, I really didn't think this would be good for me. I'm an introvert. I didn't have a big circle of friends. I just moved to a new city, so I didn't know a lot of people. But I thought, you never know. So literally signed up right after that facial, 45 minutes, an hour later. Driving home from that facial, I had a moment of like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Maybe I shouldn't have done this. I don't know. So I called my mom and told her I was thinking about selling Mary Kay. Little did she know, I signed up, ordered business cards, like I had my website set up. I was like, I was in this thing, but I just wanted to see what she thought. And I remember when I was young that my mom sold Longaberger baskets for a brief, moment of time when we were kids. And so she was, of course, super supportive. She said, "Oh, I think that's great." And so then, of course, I told her that I did sign up. But I will say that what almost held me back was just that just the doubt that I had in myself. Could I do this? Could I be successful? But I didn't have a crystal ball then, and I don't have a crystal ball now to tell any of you if you would be successful either. And so it's one of those things until you try, you never know. But I figured here's the other thing I thought about to myself. I thought worst case, absolute worst case, I'll save on my own product. I couldn't lose money. because Mary Kay has one, they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee for all products. But as consultants, they have a 90% buyback guarantee if you start with inventory, which also is optional. It's not required, but I thought you absolutely cannot lose money. Um, and so I thought, well, I'll just, if I'm not loving the business part of it, I'll just stay in for my own discount. So that was my plan B. My first plan was I wanted to earn some extra income. I wanted to pay off my student loans, get myself out of debt, get a little bit of savings. And so I just was doing this a couple hours a week, you know, party here, party there, facial here, makeover there, as I could fit it in around my other full-time job as a nanny. And I just quickly fell in love, you guys. I got into Mary Kay, and then I always say Mary Kay got into me. And what I mean by that is just the culture, the women, the sisterhood, the girlfriends, the support, the camaraderie, the training. I quickly found that I was becoming a better person. I was becoming a more confident person. This business just brought me so much joy, and I was able to also give that away and help other women to look and feel beautiful. And that's the other part of what I love about what we do is helping women to look and feel great. I just, did a facial or makeover a couple weeks ago with a woman who was just like so happy with how she looked afterwards. She just was feeling beautiful, couldn't, stop looking at herself and just loving her look. And it's really priceless when you can give a woman confidence and you can give her that feeling that she is beautiful, and you can just really empower women. And so our products are just the vehicle to do that. And so I quickly found that. And so I worked part-time those first few months, um, gradually increasing my hours because I wanted more. The more I worked my business, the more I wanted. And this is just my story. Like I said, I came in just to kind of test the waters and to see, but I give God all the glory. At the end of that first year, we earned our first free car. My team and I became a sales director. I moved into leadership. That's when I was able to support myself just on my Mary Kay business. So I was 23 at the time and working my Mary Kay business full time. Was paying my rent, putting gas in my car, putting food in my stomach. It was paying on my student loans. It was doing all of that. And I just continued to grow. And again, I give God the glory for all of the success. And fast forward now 19 years, it'll be June 26th. This month will be 19 years. And it's just been such a rich, rewarding experience in so many ways. I mean, the income is incredible. If you're looking for a little, if you're looking for a lot, this can be supplemental. This could replace another full-time career if you wanted to. It can just be something you dip your toes in the water, so to speak, and you just try it out to see. It doesn't have to be something that's overwhelming or consuming or takes over your life. That's not the idea. I always say if you have a full plate, make Mary Kay your dessert. Just a little bit here and there, dabble with it. Let it be fun. Let it be fun. That's what this business is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun and rewarding. So if you're looking for extra cash, this might be the perfect opportunity. In fact, especially right now over the summer, this is what I'm sharing with those who are, kind of maybe not totally sure, but like, I don't know, I want to try it out. So this is just a summer pilot program where you can just give it a test drive, a test run for a few months over the summer, June, July, August, or July, August, September. And, you don't have to put in these exact hours per week. You could put in one, you could put in two, you could put in 5 or 10. That's really up to you. But the idea is that you try it out for a few months. And again, see if you're having fun, if you're making money, if it's something you want to do more with. But it can ebb and flow with life and with those different seasons. I've worked with a lot of women over 19 years, and we've all experienced a lot of life and in seasons where you can kind of put the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and seasons when I've been able to do that and really run and work a lot more, and seasons I've had to kind of back off a little bit, or I've had consultants that have had to back off and maybe put Mary Kay on the back burner for a while. And that's the beauty of it, because you work for yourself and you have that ultimate flexibility. And so that's just another perk is the flexibility, of making your own schedule and being your own boss, and working from home, I have to say, is a beautiful thing. I love that my commute is from my bedroom downstairs to my office in the morning and, occasionally some different things, but it's, again, you are in the driver's seat. You get me in your starter kit, so I'm here to support you, teach you, train you, but you don't have to answer to me. I'm not your boss. You don't want me to be your boss. I don't want to be your boss. I'm your coach. I'm your mentor. I'm your cheerleader, support system. But you get to decide what your goals are, how fast or how slow you go with this business, when and where you work it. And the other cool thing that we really started to see was a huge advantage was back in 2020 when the world changed. Prior to that, I only held appointments in person, and Zoom really wasn't a thing. If it was, we weren't using it. But obviously, since 2020, it's opened up the virtual space, which is such a blessing because, of course, you can still work in person, holding parties and facials with women around a kitchen or dining room table. But now through Zoom and Facebook and all these other avenues, you can still do the exact same thing. Send samples in advance, meet up on Zoom, do a facial or a makeover with women who aren't local to you. And so the whole United States really is an opened up to us. Whereas before it was really how far are you willing to drive? And so that's a cool thing too, is you get to decide if you're in person, if you're virtual, if you're a hybrid of both, which honestly I think is the best, getting to dabble in both of those. There's certainly advantages to both. So again, just another reason that women love their business. I think more than anything, it's the flexibility of being able to make your own schedule. So, of course, just the self-esteem and that confidence, as you heard me share in my first few months of starting my business, I quickly found that I was more confident. I was, standing a little taller and just treating people differently too. And that's what, in fact, Mary Kay talks about in her autobiography. And you get this, I think you get this in your starter kit as a new consultant. If not, you can get it for free in one of your first orders. But Mary Kay's autobiography called Miracles Happen, she talks about how we send women home better wives and mothers after the time that they spent with us, because when we're feeling confident, because we're looking better, we treat people differently. And Mary Kay has just reinforced the golden rule, which just comes from scripture, treating people the way you'd want to be treated. And so all of these values just became more instilled in me as I started to grow my business. And I just really appreciate being surrounded by positive, faith-filled women. And I think the community and the sisterhood is so, so valuable, and something I wasn't necessarily looking for being an introvert, but something I'm so grateful for. Because another lesson I've learned is we become like the people we spend the most time with, positive or negative. If your friend's in a mud puddle, she's going to splash mud on you. And, so I've learned to be that balcony person that kind of brings people up and empowers and encourages and motivates and uplifts people, as opposed to that basement person who kind of drags people down and sucks the energy right out of them. You probably know someone who might be a basement person that you just don't really feel as energized after being in their space. But being in the Mary Kay world and what we lovingly refer to as our pink bubble, we're surrounded by women who elevate us and stretch us and grow us. And just again, going back to scripture, iron sharpens iron. And I'm better because of the women that I'm surrounded with, bigger thinkers who are, just visionaries and who just have breathed belief into me. I think too is important, because there were plenty of times in my career when I doubted myself. Could I do this? Could I reach this goal? Could I, overcome this obstacle? And having a support system of women around you, believing in you, praying for you is priceless. And another just huge blessing that I wasn't looking for. I mean, truly, when I started my business, I was looking for one thing and one thing only, that was extra income. But I stay for a multitude of reasons. I stay for all these other reasons. And truly now to give it away and to empower other women and to help them find what they want from this business. So those are really the top reasons I think women start a business. I'll open it up for questions. If you have any questions, Kimberly, you want to unmute, or you can type them in the chat, or we can connect later. And if not, I'll just share a few last closing thoughts.
I do have a quick question on the startup.
Mhm.
Is it the startup and then an additional 90, or does the 90 include the startup if you choose to do the pro kit?
Good question. Yeah, it would be an addition to. So I'll pull this up. Oh, maybe I don't have it. Oh, I do have it here. So everybody starts with the E-Start, which is 35. And then when you go through the agreement and you fill all that out and you get to the checkout, you do the E-Start and then you can add the Pro Start, so it'd be an additional 90 right then and there, which I
Mhm.
recommend because then you're not paying shipping twice. Um, or
Right.
you do have up to 2 weeks later, I think, from when you do the E-Start, you could always add it 2 weeks later. Um, but yeah, it's chock full of everything you need. All the essential party supplies are in there.
Okay. I mean that because that looked like the best option. I
It
was
really
just
is.
curious.
It really is. Yeah. It's a beautiful big tote bag. That even on its own, like sometimes I've even like unpacked it of all my Mary Kay stuff and used it like for weekend trips and things because it's just such a nice bag. But yeah, it's got pretty much everything you need.
Okay. I definitely have more questions, but I will have to get with you later when I have those in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. So I think we covered obviously the commission, our personal discount, and then one of the other benefits of being a consultant is you own the customer experience, meaning you get to give your customers whatever kind of amazing experience you want. Whether that's sending them the catalog quarterly with samples, which PS Mary Kay will do for you, giving special discounts during their birthday month. We have, of course, that amazing beauty community on Facebook that they can be a part of, lots of other things, but you can really just make your customers feel so special and you can decide what you want to do for them. Of course, the mentorship and the education. I don't think I mentioned that for the second year in a row, we were announced the #1 direct selling brand of um, skincare and cosmetics in the entire world. 2 years in a row. #1 global beauty brand. Of course, all the digital tools and marketing, no quotas, no territories, the websites included, weekly trainings, all of that. So it truly is, in my opinion, the absolute best opportunity on the planet for women today, where really you can have it all. And so if it's something you're considering, a few questions I always pose to someone who's maybe on the fence or kind of thinking about it is if you don't become a consultant today, where do you see yourself a year from now? And for most women, not all, but most, it's in the exact same place, more or less. If you don't do anything different, not much changes. But if you were to become a consultant today, how would your life be improved a year from now? Just think about how it would be enriched 1 year, 365 days from now, if you were to say yes. Think about the qualities that you have that would make you a great consultant. I find that as I've worked with women, a lot of times we tend to be really hard on ourselves and think about all the reasons why we can't or why we wouldn't be good. But each and every one of you has gifts and talents and abilities that are unique to you. You have strengths. You've been gifted in ways that can really be an asset here. And so think about those things and share them with me when we connect. Share with me those strengths, those things that you see in yourself that you know would be great. Maybe you're a really great listener. Maybe you're really organized. Maybe you're really just a really great student and you can learn quickly. Maybe you have great marketing skills. Maybe you have a marketing background. I know some people do. But there are a few qualities that you have that would really make you great here. So think about what those are and share them with me. And then what are the most important reasons for you to become a consultant, because for everyone it's different. You know, everybody is looking for something a little different. And I think this opportunity can fill just about every need and anything that you want from it. So share with me too the things that are most important to you that you get out of your Mary Kay experience. Because when I work with new consultants, that's what I want to know is, what do you want? It is all about you and helping you to get what you want from this business. If the money is the most important thing to you, we're going to make that happen. If it's the personal growth, if it's the connection and the sisterhood, if it's self-esteem, if it's the flexibility, I want to know, because that's important to me as your mentor, so that I can just support you the best way I can. And lastly, is there any reason why you couldn't give it a try for 35 or 90? So I do hope that if it's something that is on your mind, you'll take that step and take that step of faith and make a decision out of faith and not out of fear. And the reason I say that is because dialing back 19 years ago, I almost made a decision out of fear. In fact, I told my friend, I said, let me think about it. And had she let me think about it and let me walk out that door that day to think about it, I know I wouldn't be here today, only because I know myself and I would have talked myself right out of it. So I'm really glad that she was my good friend. I knew I could trust her. And because she was my friend, she could kind of nudge me a little bit. And she was like, Amanda, just try it out. And she kind of gave me that little like shove that I needed, that little nudge to say, just do it. And I'm so glad that she did. So if you need time at all to think about it, I always say sleep on it. If it's something you're thinking about tonight, I jokingly say, if you're counting pink sheep or you're dreaming about pink Cadillacs, take it as a sign. But truly, if you wake up tomorrow, if it's still on your mind after a day or two, it's something that you want to do. And it's a matter of just saying, okay, and just taking that step and ordering that starter kit. And you'll find that life pushes you in the direction you make up your mind to go. And once you make up your mind and you say, yes, I'm going to do this, it's amazing how all those fears and those doubts sort of like dissipate. And not to say that there won't be moments where you get a little bit nervous, or you have that moment of doubt, like I did driving home from my friend's apartment. But it's so much easier to just make that decision than to kind of sit on the fence, so to speak. And so if you do keep thinking about it, listen to your heart and make that heart decision versus a head decision, because sometimes our head gets in the way and we think about it too much. But that's just my encouragement to any of you who are considering it. And I want to leave you with this is just a little intro. This was Mary Kay's dedication in her autobiography. She said she dedicated this book to the thousands of women who dared to step out of their comfort zones and use their God-given talents and abilities, realizing that God did not have time to make a nobody, just a somebody. So know that you've been gifted and you are talented, and you are a somebody. And we believe in you. I believe in you. Mary Kay believed in you. So thanks again for taking the time to be with us tonight or to catch the replay. I'll certainly be in touch and hope you have a great night. Bye.